Hello and welcome to another edition of The Russell Show. My name is Russell Brooks, the author of the action thriller Pandora's Succession. Now in today's show I'd like to feature a very excellent mystery writer by the name of J.A. Konrath. Now the book I'd like to feature today is called Cherry Bomb, which was published last year. Now it's part of the Jack Daniels mystery series of books, which also includes Whiskey Sour, Bloody Mary, Rusty Nail, Dirty Martini, Fuzzy Navel, and Cherry Bomb. Now if you want to read those books, it's better that you do read them in order, otherwise you could wind up with spoilers, especially in the last two, Cherry Bomb and its predecessor, Fuzzy Navel, which does end on a cliffhanger and picks up in Cherry Bomb. Now in Cherry Bomb, it features Lieutenant Jack Daniels, or Jacqueline Daniels, which is a Chicago police detective who, hunts down serial killers, psychopaths, and the occasional domestic terrorist, while at the same time trying to keep her mind together, coming home from work and having to deal with her boyfriend, an ex-husband who just won't leave her alone, and also a very sexually promiscuous mother who's living with her right now. Now, Jack Daniels is in her 40s, so that'll put the mother around her late 60s to early 70s. Yeah, you get the picture right there. So that's the kind of life that Jack Daniels leads right now. So without further ado, I'm going to read you Chapter 2 of Cherry Bomb. Now the reason I'm reading you Chapter 2 is because if I were to read you Chapter 1, it's going to basically screw up everything that you're hoping for after reading the previous book, which is Fuzzy Navel. And it does have a lot of spoilers, so I don't want to read Chapter 1. I did get permission from J.A. Konrath to read a chapter from his book. In fact, everything I do on this show, I do get permission from the original authors of the works. So without further ado, I'm going to read you Chapter 2. Now the setting is that the serial killer, her name is Alexandra Cork, she has just murdered of someone who was very close to Jack Daniels. Now Jack Daniels is at the funeral, which is at a cemetery, and Alexandra Cork, she's miles away, but she set up a digital camera in the cemetery where she can observe what's going on from a distance. So here it goes right here. Chapter 2. Miles away, Alexandra Cork sits in a coffee store chain, sipping a tall black dark roast. Alex doesn't care for the coffee, but the free Wi-Fi access makes her internet trail harder to trace. She moves a finger along her laptop touchpad, and the camera zooms in on Lieutenant Jacqueline Daniels, kneeling in the mud. The image is in color, with a gorgeous 600 dpi resolution that is unfortunately blurred by the drizzle. Behind the mesh veil, Alex smiles with half of her face. Like Jack, she wears funeral black, but her heels and her hemline are higher. The outfit is new, a Dolce & Gabbana 2-button blazer with a matching skirt. No top underneath, just a push-up bra that reveals a lot of cleavage in the V-neck. The hat is vintage, purchased at a thrift store, wide-brimmed and stylish in an Audrey Hepburn kind of way. The netting extends from the brim and curls down to beneath her chin, tickling her neck. For the discreet serial killer, it's the next best thing to a hockey mask. Above the scents of coffee and cinnamon, Alex catches a whiff of Lagerfield. It stings her sore nose. She powers off the computer just as the man approaches her small table. Mid-50s, balding, short. His suit is tailored, expensive, but still can't hide the middle-aged spread and the bullfrog chin. The gold wedding band is tight on his sausage finger. I noticed you were sitting here. I wanted to offer my condolences, he says, speaking to her breasts. Men are so laughably predictable. If she were topless, she wouldn't even need the veil to hide her face. No man would bother looking above her collarbone. Oh, thank you, Alex said. You know, I'd offer you a seat, but I was just leaving. Alex stands. She's 2 inches taller than he, and his eyes follow her cleavage like laser scopes. He seems momentarily unable to speak, so Alex prompts him. You know, this may sound rash, but I'm feeling vulnerable right now, and I could really use some company. Would you walk me back to my hotel room? Now his eyes meet hers. They widen with possibilities. Yes, of course. Let me get my things. He hurries over to his table, grabbing his umbrella, reaching for the paper cup of coffee and an open copy of the Wall Street Journal, and then hesitating. Alex can almost see his thoughts pop up over his head in cartoon balloons. If he takes the paper and coffee, then he won't have a free hand to help console the poor widow. He chooses to leave them, then spins fast and bumps into another man who is also staring at Alex. They exchange glances, one gloating, the other envious, and then he slips past and offers Alex his arm. Alex tucks her computer into the carrying case, pulls a strap over her shoulder, and links her fingers around his biceps, feeling that doughy fat beneath the fabric. There are 6 people in the coffee shop, 3 of whom watch them walk towards the door. "I'm staying at the Hyatt." Alex is louder than necessary. "It's right up the block." The overcast day matches the hue of the stained sidewalk and dirty office buildings. Even the air smells gray, car exhaust melding with drizzle. Alex begins to stroke his arm. Her breath quickens in anticipation. "I'm getting hot." "Oh, do you want me to hold your jacket?" "Not that kind of hot. No, not that kind of hot." Alex maneuvers him against the brick wall at the opening of an alley. She takes his hand, which is pliant as a doll's, and runs it over her chest, right down to her trim belly, to right between her legs. "Sex and death," she whispers. "They're connected, part of the same cycle." His eyes bug out, and his jaw drops open, and he stays stock still. She ribs against him, and he finally gets the hint, his chubby fingers beginning to explore her. "Oh, is it wrong?" Panting now. "That death turns me on?" He moans something non-committal, but the umbrella drops from his other hand, and he grabs her left breast, seeking the nipple right through the fabric.